somebody in the audience, if you're around, what kind of questions would you be asking Don?
Listen, I would ask, do I just pay any amount of money? Because I see a lot of leeway here. My next question would be, is there something I could do that would be more strategic in paying down the loans? That's probably what I would ask.
All right, so let's imagine somebody from the audience came up and asked that. Let's go to breakdown.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put our opportunity cost calculator on the screen. This is our AI system, okay? Artificially intelligent system. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to reset the account, and I'm going to set this up for a real estate investor, okay? So we're going to set it up for multiple properties. There we go. Set it up for multiple properties. And then as it changes, we're going to actually put 10 mortgages into this program. All right, 10 mortgages. All right. We have a total of principal remaining. We have $2,947,500 in properties in here. The amount of interest that we have remaining to pay, okay, principal remaining, interest remaining, okay, the bank wants us to pay $1,659,869 in interest. That's how much interest we're going to pay with this program. But here's how much interest we're going to save: $1,455,115. So the total amount of interest that the bank wanted us to pay was like $3 million. $3 million. But we're only going to pay $1,600,000. That's $1,455,000 saved by knowing exactly what to do. Let me get in here. Let me show you how we know what to do here. All right. So we're going to change this back to the next debt transfer, and we're going to keep this here. Now, this is Mr. Jones, and he has this property, and here is his rental income here. We can actually see 3 months at a time in this program, 3 months at a time. We got March, April, and the current month, May. So when we get the money in, his rent's $15,000, then he starts to pay the mortgages. Say mortgage number 8, mortgage number 6, mortgage number 3. He's paying the mortgages, and he has a HELOC. He pays his auto insurance, and is also, even though he is a real estate investor, he also has a very good W-2 job, which not only pays him a salary, but he gets bonuses as well. So he's putting all of that money to good use, putting it together, building up his financial empire. Now, here's what's going on. As he's getting the money in and he's making the minimum payments, he's just reporting to the program, I receive my rental income. So he just clicks on the link, tells the program, I receive my rental income, and it disappears from the screen. Where did it go? We go into accounts, and we can see that when we take a look at the accounts, we can see, oh, that it went into his checking account. So if we check the history here, we find out that, oh, his starting balance was $500. He put $15,000 in. So now he has $15,500 in his checking account. So we go back, click on the accounts, and the checking, we have about $5,000 in savings. And here are his liabilities. Here's his Visa card. Here are the mortgages. Here's a mortgage for $300,000. Here's one for $200,000. Here's one for $500,000 at 4%. Here's one for $375,000 at 4.13%. So we have a ton of mortgages here owing a different amount at different interest rates. So remember, at the top of our show, I mentioned having 10 variables. When you have a lot of variables, then you have to figure out, how do I pay this thing back in a way that's going to save me the most amount of money? So when you do things in the right sequence, you save money. But if you don't do them in the right sequence, you're still saving money, but you're not saving as much money. So here's my question to everyone. Do you want to save some money in interest, or do you want to save the most amount of interest that's mathematically possible for you? So here's what's happening. I'm going to skip down through here. We're going to pay all of the mortgages for March. We're going to take a look at April. And the program says in April, some of that money that the program is saying, you need to put some of that money in savings. You need to take the money out of checking and put it into savings. And then when you do that, you need to pay that HELOC off to zero. Take $3,461.58, pay the HELOC off to zero. That's what the program is saying. And then with another portion of that money, $4,031.42. And it's very specific. Stop at the 42 cents. Don't round it up. Stop right there. This is an optimum amount and an optimum day to pay this money to save the maximum amount of interest for you. Watch what happens when we tell the program we want to pay mortgage. Out of all the mortgages, we're picking on mortgage number 9. Why mortgage number 9? Let's execute this and see. When we pay that $4,031.42 to this mortgage, it's going to save us, can you see this future interest savings? $46,894.34. Are you telling me that this real estate investor, by paying an extra $4,000 that he probably has in a reserve fund, is going to save him $46,000 in interest? How can that be? Here's how. Let me show you. We're going to go back. We're going to go into accounts and we're going to find mortgage number 9 and see how it breaks down. So we go into mortgage number 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here we are. So here we go. We're going to open this up. We're going to click on history. And I need you to see something. When he makes his payment on this mortgage, $213 goes to principal, $2,637.92 goes to interest. This is $487,000 at 6.5% interest. Folks, do you realize that's where the interest rates are going? 6.5%. It's here today. It's here now. Okay. What can you do with that? With these tiny principal payments, for every $200 or $13 or $14 or so that's prepaid, that means he doesn't have to pay $2,600 in interest. So when you take the $4,000, how many of these can you divide into $4,000 and then take that money and multiply it by the $2,600 in interest? That's where we get that money from, that he doesn't have to pay all of that interest when he prepays the $4,000. Otherwise, let me go back to where we were, okay? And I need to make this abundantly clear. When he pays this money, so watch this. We're going to go back to mortgage number 9. We're going to open it up. Watch this. The $4,031.42. If he pays it the way the bank wants him to, in monthly installments, when he gets up to $4,031, he will also give in the bank $46,894.34 if he pays it in monthly installments. But if he gives it to the bank, it disrupts the bank's timing, giving the money he would have to give them anyway at the right time in the right amounts. He doesn't have to pay the $46,000 to get the same amount of equity. I hope that this is becoming abundantly clear to everyone, whether they're a real estate investor, whether you're a residential homeowner. It is not necessary to pay all of that interest. If you're a residential homeowner, listen, folks, stop spending your kids' inheritance on interest, because that's exactly what we're doing. Do you know we come into these clubhouse rooms, and do you know how much time we spend on how to legally avoid paying taxes? I mean, you make the money, why give it all away in taxes? So we have a ton of tax strategies. How many strategies do we have and not paying interest. And folks, we're going to pay far more interest than we will ever pay in taxes. And we have way more strategies for taxes than we do for interest.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.